Alright, factoring trinomials when a equals 1. Alright, when given the form ax squared plus bx plus c, if a equals 1, then the coefficient in front of x squared, we're going to look for two factors of c that add to give us b. Okay, so for this first example, c is 20, so I need two factors of 20 that add to give me 12. Well, this case is pretty easy. That will be 10 times 2. 10 times 2 gives me 20. 10 plus 2 gives me 12. So whenever I factor a trinomial, my answer will be two binomials. So I'll have x, x, and so what goes inside my two binomials will be 10 and 2 because they add to give me 12, b, and then they multiply to give me 20, which is c. Alright, next example. Alright, I've got x squared minus 15x plus 56, so I need to find two factors of 56 that add to give me negative 15. So in this case, that would be, well, 8 times 7 does not work because that would give me a positive, or plus 7 would give me a positive 15. So I know that won't work. But I know that if I do negative 8 times negative 7, that will give me a positive 56. And negative 8 plus negative 7 will give me a negative 15. So what will go inside my two binomials will be negative 8 and negative 7. Alright, next example. Well, if you remember back in my first factoring video, every single time we factor, the first thing that we're going to do is look for a GCF. In this case, we actually have a GCF, which would be 2. So we need to take that 2 out. I'd be left with x squared plus 2x minus 35. So from here now, my coefficient in front of x squared is my coefficient in front of x squared is 1, so a equals 1. So I just need two factors of negative 35 that add to give me 2. So if I think about my factors of 35, I got 5 times 7 would be positive 35, but so it's probably going to be in that range. I need a positive 2. So if I do 7 times negative 5, I'll get negative 35. If I do 7 plus negative 5, I would get a positive 2. So that's perfect. So my answer would be 2, x plus 7, x minus 5. The 2 remains on the outside. Always remember you can check your answer by foiling to get back to your original trinomial. Make sure it works. Remember that 2 stays on the outside. It is part of the problem. All right. Next, we have factoring a trinomial when a is greater than 1. So if you look at this first example, we got 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. There's no GCF, so I cannot take anything out. So I'm going to need to do the AC method. Okay. AC method is when I literally multiply A times c. So in this case, it would be 2 times negative 4, which will give me negative 8. Okay. Then I need to find 2 factors of AC that add to give me B. This is very similar to when A equals 1. So in this case, on this problem, that would be 8 times negative 1 gives me negative 8. 8 plus negative 1 will give me 7. So then, my next step is I'm going to split 7x into 2 terms. In this case, it would be 8x and negative 1x. And I get that from here, these two numbers, when I split 7x, I get those two numbers from the 2 factors of AC that add to give me B. So then I'm still going to bring down my 2x squared and my negative 4. And now you can see I have 4 terms. Whenever I have 4 terms, class, we factor by grouping. So group the first 2 terms, group the second 2 terms. GCF of my first group would be 2x. That'll leave me with x plus 4. GCF of my second group would be negative 1. Leave me with x plus 4. So my final answer would be x plus 4 to x minus 1. If I FOILed those 2 binomials back, I would get 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. Okay. Next example, I'm going to do the AC method. There's no GCF, so I do 2 times negative 9, negative 18. 2 factors of negative 18, they give me 3. So I'm thinking it's 6, 3, so I need it to be a positive 6 times negative 3. Gives me negative 18. And then positive 6 plus negative 3 gives me 3. Okay, so that's perfect. So I'm going to split the middle term, and it's going to become 6n and negative 3n. I need to bring it down my 2n squared and my negative 9. 4 terms, factor by grouping. My first grouping, I can take out a 2n, which would leave me with n plus 3. Second grouping, I need to take out a negative 3, which would leave me with n plus 3. So my answer would be n plus 3 to n minus 3. Alright, last, I'm going to have 5n squared plus 19n plus 12. No GCF. Going to do my AC method. 5 times 12. That's going to give me 60. So I need 2 factors of 60 that add to give me 19. Well, let's think about factors of 60. We got 6 and 10, right? Well, 6 and 10, that's not going to work. But, you know what is going to work is 15 and 4. 15 times 4 gives me 60. 15 plus 4 gives me 19. So I'm going to split my middle term. It's going to become 15n plus 4n. Bring down my 5n squared. Bring down my 12. And I'll factor by grouping. First group I can take out a 5n. I'm left with n plus 3. Second grouping I can take out a 4. Left with n plus 3. So my final answer would be n plus 3, 5n plus 4. By the way, these two problems are problems 2 and 4 that came off of your factoring packet that I gave you last class. So, yeah, that's factoring trinomials. Use this for help when you need it. Go back and look at it. Feel free to come ask me questions. Thanks. Bye.